Alright, so pulled all the R12 out of the system, went ahead and took the tank to a local place who does AC&R, and they're gonna handle it. So right now I'm ready to remove the condenser. I have my little drop light up here looking down. I have my long boy extension with a swivel 10mm socket. So I don't know how well you guys can see in there, but this is where I have the socket. That's the top one right there. There's the bolt. And I already broke them loose, so I just gotta remove them now. So here's the bottom one. It's loose, but it's just sitting there in the thing, but no worries. I'll go ahead and reach in there now, pull them off the condenser. Here's a bolt. If your hand is small enough, lucky. My wrists and shit like that are not that huge, so they barely fit. I just can't get to the top. Oh no, they're both loose. Alright, cool. So both lines are loose. Let's see if this condenser is ready to come out now. There she is. Just like that. So remember, these two lines you gotta remove that are 10mm bolts. You have a 10mm bolt that goes here, 10mm bolt that goes here. And just slide it right out. Remember, you do have to push the radiator back, so just undo those two brackets that are held down with two 12mm bolts each. Push it back. Be careful not to damage your radiator. There's not much we can do about that. That was already falling. But that happens with age. It's not really that big of a deal. Just remove it, toss it. So, condenser's out, and let's go ahead and get started on the dryer. That should be fun to do. So the dryer on these cars, SC and Soarer, underneath the left headlight. And you can actually see it. This right here on the car, it's a black canister. When you buy them brand new, they're not painted. You can't get them painted. You're gonna pay a little bit more, obviously. But the one he got was aluminum. No big deal. I mean, they look fine. You can always go back and touch it up with some spray paint after the fact, and then you know, it'll look OEM again. But the raw aluminum look really doesn't look terrible. I did it on mine. It didn't bother me one bit. Matter of fact, you didn't see it unless you know, put your head down and you were exactly eye level with it because it's so dark in the area. So to remove the headlight, 10mm bolt here. And then behind the fender liner, you have two 10mm nuts that go right here. So you're gonna have to pull the liner out, get an extension, get in there, zip those two nuts off, this one bolt, and then you super carefully massage the light out. Somebody I know, we're swapping headlights, and the owner of the vehicle wasn't paying attention. He kind of marred up his paint a little bit on the bumper, and I was like, ugh, fuck. So, kind of sketchy. I'm gonna lay some masking tape. If I have some, I gotta find it. Lay some masking tape here on the bumper to protect it, and we'll go from there. Replacing the dryer is super easy. Got bolts removed. The light is unbolted and loose. I don't have any masking tape, so I'm just gonna fucking wing it. I've done these lights plenty of times before without fucking anything up, so make sure you unplug your headlight, all the bulbs. That's it. Just kind of massage it out a little bit. Don't be afraid to show her that you still love her. Start with the front corner. Then remove it from the fender. Boom. Just like that. There's your dryer. fun fact, you have a sight glass on the dryer itself, and you have another sight glass right there, so you can see it from the top. Why they did that, I don't fucking know, but whatever. Sight glasses don't fucking work anyways. They're always like dirty and have overspray and shit on them. So anyways, this is super easy. You have a 10 mil for this line, 10 mil for this line, and you have a 10 mil for the bracket holding it to the chassis of the car. Actually, I'm lying to you. 2 10 mils. Sorry. That's gonna be super easy. And I'll show you guys how to add oil to the dryer when you replace it, because each component you replace has to get anywhere between 2 to 4 ounces of oil. Refrigerant oil, that is. So if you replace a condenser, you gotta add oil to it. If you replace a dryer, you add oil to it. If you replace an evaporator or an expansion valve, you add oil to those items before you bolt them in. So let's get started. So, 3 bolts in front of the engine for the compressor. You also have bolts that go through the side, into the side of the block, and then 2 lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and break off those 2 lines and see if I can get my hand where that back compressor bolt is. I got both compressors up on the workbench, and they look identical. He bought a Denso compressor, so everything matches up. The only thing I do have to change out is this part right here that the lines bolt to. Different configurations for different vehicles. Here's the plate that I have to remove. Take this plate off, it brings a gasket. Then I gotta unbolt that, transfer that piece right here over to this compressor. I'm gonna clean it up, obviously. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let it stay like that. And then add my oil. I gotta reattach this ground right here. As you can see, the ground gets bolted there. And then you have this guy that goes to that for the clutch. Real simple. Very straightforward job. I think it's time for a lunch break. I've done a lot, I feel like. Condenser, compressor, and dryer. Yeah, I'm gonna go get lunch, go get fat for a little bit, and then we'll come back and see whatever I decide to do next. So, let's catch you guys in a minute.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I gotta do this on my phone now because I'm an asshole. My first GoPro battery died, and I never charged my second battery like a fucking dickhead. Fuck me, man. Alright, so anyways, fucking over here bleeding my ass off. Fucking blood all over this goddamn table. Because this right here originally had this fucking plate on there, right? Well, these bolts were so fucking hard to get off. It was unbelievable. And the third one stripped. I had to like get a hammer and bang this fucking thing around like that to loosen the bolt. Rip the fucking gasket in the meanwhile. Thank fucking God it brings a new one. Because I don't know what the fuck I would do. Probably try to salvage this gasket. I'm kind of pissed right now. Like everything's fucking going wrong. So, here's the piece off the old compressor. I cleaned it up as much as possible. I gotta replace this gasket now. put this piece on this compressor, put this little fucking cocksucker on here, and this compressor's lucky that it's a core return, because I would launch this motherfucker into the street. I'm that fucking pissed. I just wanted to show you guys this, what they look like inside. This one's pretty silvery, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's rather sparkly in there. So metal shavings are definitely in the system. I'm gonna have to flush everything out before I reinstall the new components. So let's go ahead and get this swapped out, and then I have to wait for the customer to bring me the AC system flush that he ordered from Amazon that is supposedly showing up today. But until then, I'm kind of like at a standstill. So yeah, I'm gonna swap this shit over and pretty much hang out. Came to a stopping point after I swapped the components over on the compressor. Here it is, the service port is what it's called, the technical name for it. So she's ready to go in. New dryer, old dryer. Here's the flush kit that I used on my wife's IS300 I'm about to use right now. Old compressors back in the box for the core. I was able to charge my GoPro back up to 100%, so that should last me the rest of the day. Right now just waiting on the owner of the vehicle to bring me the flush solution and the condenser, so that so I can continue on. First step will be flushing these lines, flushing the evaporator, and then once that's flushed out, I can go ahead and start assembling everything again, dropping the condenser, the compressor, and the dryer. And then once everything is done inside the engine bay, I'm jump into the cabin, drop that glove box, and get to that evaporator, slide it out so I could change out the expansion valve. So we got the flush, the same stuff I used on my car. Got the same rig, the siphon bottle, and I have it going here to the dryer line. So this blower has a rubber tip that fits quite snugly over this, so I don't have to worry about that leaking or blowing by. I'm just gonna push this flush through here, straight back to the evaporator in the glove box, out of the evaporator, and then out of this line that's right here, where it goes to the compressor.